If you gotta do, I don't know which antenna I'm on, or that's on the long wire, and the other. Anyhow, well, good hearing you guys in there, and boy, radio conditions from the sunspots have been down to zip this weekend, and I looked, and we are in an R2 stage radio blackout. But yeah, we'll see how long it holds in there. Okay, I don't know who's next. I guess back over to Chuck, and you success.
Yeah, okay. It's just you and I and Dave there, Ron. Henry's net control this morning. He said he would be coming on in about approximately 15 after to get the net started. So I was getting ready to tune up, and I'm just tuning up away, and I ain't reading nothing on the RF watts meter. And I'm like, what the heck? Then I happened to look down, and God, I don't even have the antenna hooked to the ART13. It's hooked to the PRC74. So I had to quick do that. And I think when I kicked that in, I think, Dave, that's what you heard. Ain't nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, when you get a lot of radios, I've had my mistakes too. Luckily these ART13s are bulletproof. I've transmitted into nothing a few times on mine. Still hanging in there.
Yeah, that's the beauty of non-solid state stuff. Doesn't really seem to care if there's an antenna there or not.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. The ART, I can't even talk this morning. I'm glad I'm not in net control. The ART13 is one of the best Collins engineered transmitter they ever made. And the fact that it's strictly a military transmitter for guys like us that love military gear, that's just a bonus. So I'm tickled to death with my two. I don't run mine very often, but that's because I got to go through a whole lot to hook it back up into the electrical box there to switch over from. I have a box that I switch over for different transmitters, and sometimes you got to switch to 14 volts, and you got to switch back over to 28 volts, and you got to move a bunch of hardware and all that stuff. So, and right now, anyway, the best dynamotor I have is only running about 75 watts. But, I got one that runs power, it runs 100 watts, but it likes to click a lot, and I think the reason behind that is if it was running on 230 volts, it would probably quit clicking. So anyway, that's kind of my story here. Back to you, Dave. W6MQI.
W6JRY. W6 Alpha, Quebec, uniform.
Oh, wow. Haven't heard that guy in a while. Go ahead.
Morning, Dave. Chuck. Jerry. This is W6 April Queen Uncle in Montague. Thought we'd fire up this morning. See what's going on. Make my presence known. So the next station that I heard that broke in was Jerry. And then you'll turn it back to Dave. This is W6 April Queen Uncle. Go ahead, JRY.
Well, good morning, Bob. Very good. Well, I've been missing here too, Bob, so don't feel bad. It's W6JRY. I hope I'm getting out here. I just got my antenna back up just a few days ago. So anyway, I hope you guys. Sounds like Bob's got me, but wonder how this thing's doing anyway. We're on the ATC. So anyway, Dave, you copying me okay?
Yeah, W6JRY, W6MQI. Copy you, no problem. In fact, you're probably the loudest of everybody that's on here. Sounding really good. And good morning to Bob. Long time no hear. I think the last time I saw you was up there at W7 or at the N7 RCA meet. So good to hear you again. So I guess who's next here? Ron, I guess. NU6F. Go ahead.
Okay, good deal, guys. Well, sure is good hearing you in there. Bob, I don't know which antenna we're on now. Hold on. I don't know which one is which now. Well, anyhow, I'm on some kind of antenna. Well, good deal. Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, your radio, the 4RAL bounced off of the shelf when you came on. So, yeah, I said to myself, I think he's got his old antenna up. And yeah, we have not heard anything from Radio Free Montague for so long. A lot to catch up on. So, good morning, Bob. All right, I think Henry's probably around by now, so I'll stand by. NU6F. And there's Bill.
Okay, Bill, hang in there. We'll got you down. We'll go through the order here when he starts. So anyway, welcome back, Bob. I knew I heard that legendary voice before, and you've been sorely missed, my friend. But thank you for being there. You sound fantastic. Look, a little bit weak. I don't know what you're running, but I mean, you keep our copy easy. No problem. But good to hear your voice again. Good to hear that call sound on you again. And hopefully you'll be at Brad's. I hope. So thanks for all you guys for showing up so early. But Bob showing up is a complete surprise to me. I'm blown away. Okay. Henry, WA7YBS, are you on frequency yet? Well, I guess he's not on yet, so I guess I'll send it down to Dave, W6MQI, I guess. And good morning to Jerry. I'm sorry, Jerry. He got a good strong signal into Dayton this morning. That antenna is fantastic. You pounding in here, so no problem. So good to hear your voice this morning too. Another legendary voice. W6MQI, K0DWC. Go ahead.
All right, K0DWC, W6MQI. Alrighty. Well, I think I'm going to zip back into the house here real quick and get the last of the coffee that's in my coffee maker, and I'll come right back out. So, Jerry, W6JRY, W6MQI, and like again, you're sounding really good down here, down here in Livermore. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, it's W6JRY. Boy, everybody is really great signals here in Forest Ranch today, and seems like the band, right at the present time, I don't know what it's been doing here lately. But anyway, I just get back on here this morning and see how things are going. I finally got some help climbing the tower and getting the two delta loops put back up that came down in the last snow and wind and so on. So hopefully they'll be up there for a while again. Got new ropes put on those. So I'm going to stand by here and try to get checked in when Henry gets around here. So we'll be standing by. This W6JRY.
Okay. Let me get tuned up here. This is WA7YBS. And I know I used to be able to do this while talking, but it goes. Well, anyway, so far I've heard Dave, and Jerry. This is a pretty net warm-up for the Vintage Military Radio Net. Dave and Jerry had excellent signals in here to Dayton. So let's see who else is on here. Who else is in the standby mode here on the Vintage Military Radio Net? Go ahead now.
Queen Oak. Good morning, Henry. Can you pick that?
WA6 OPE.
Okay. After Jerry there, well, let's put numbers here. That might be a little bit easier. But good morning to all. And let's run down who I've heard in what order. Dave was on the way to get coffee, W6MQI in the number 1 spot. Morning, Dave. Jerry with his Delta Loop back up, pounding in here. Good signal from Jerry. Good morning, Jerry. W6JRY in the number 2 spot. Mike. Good morning to Mike. W7MS. Good signal. I like to pick you out through a mini pile up there. So you're in the number 3 spot. Number 4 is Ron, NU6F. Morning, Ron. Number 5 is Bill, N6BCT. Good morning, Bill. Number 6 is Tom, WA6OPE. Good morning, Tom. Good signal in here. And number 7 is Steve, W6SSP. So is there anybody else out there for the number 8 spot? If you out there, go ahead and check in now.
30 DWC in the back of the bus.
Whiskey 6 Alpha, Whiskey Oscar.
Well, sounds like Chuck didn't quite make the back of the bus. K0DWC, morning, Chuck in the number 8 spot. Number 9, bringing up the tail end there so far is Richard, W6AWO in the number 9 spot. Morning, Richard. Everybody has good signals today, and it's pounding in here. I'm on the 32V3, the Collins transmitter, 110 watts of carrier power. Receiver is the British Racal RA17L Mark III. I have changed the antenna coupler, the antenna tune, or whatever you want to call it. Ever since I redid this collinear array, the 2.5 waves in phase, and have run the feed line so I can operate from the upstairs in the house, I've had trouble with that Nye Viking MB5, whatever the hell it is. Anyway, I never could get a good match. And a few days ago, I decided to take that out and put the Johnson matchbox back in. What a difference. What a difference. None of those trifilar wound Allens or, trying to make a Pi network work as a bounce tuner. So anyway, the Nye Viking is seemingly doing a very, very good match here on the antenna now. You probably can't tell on the receiving end, but on my receiving end, signals are noticeably better. So it's strange, but hey, what can you say? Okay, let me run down the list real quick. Weather here, it's cloudy, rained yesterday a little bit in the late afternoon, a little bit of lightning and thunder, not far away, most of it. And so anyway, I guess we're in for another round of that today because it is cloudy already. So, temperature was around 90 yesterday. Probably be about the same today, maybe in the 80s. Number 1 is Dave, W6MQY. Number 2 is Jerry, W6JRY. Number 3 is Mike, W7MS. Number 4 is Ron, NU6F. Number 5 is Bill, N6BCT. Number 6 is Tom, WA6OPE. Number 7 is Steve, W6SSP. Number 8 is Chuck, K0DWC. And number 9 is Richard, W6AWO. Up to the top today, W6MQI, WA7YBS.
BXY's here, but late.
Let me pick up Vern there in the number 10 spot. You're going to be after W6AWO is K6BXY, Vern. So you're number 10, Vern. And good morning to you. Or to Dave, W6MQI. Go ahead, Dave. Finnish Military Radio Net, round 1.
Okay, WA7YBS, W6MQI. You missed one other station there, Henry. We have a special guest on board here. Haven't heard him in a while. W6AQU, Bob. Maybe you want to pick him up real quick.
Go ahead there, Bob. W6AQU. How are you copying?
Good morning, Henry. Yep. Everybody's loud and clear up here. No noise like I used to have. It's a W6A Point Uncle and Montague on the T3.
Okay, well, Bob, I'm going to put you after Vern. W6AQU in the number 11 spot. Sorry I missed you. You're not, barn burning strong, but you are Q5, and very militaristic sounding audio there. So, good morning to you. Long time no hear, and good to hear from you. We'll probably see you at Brad's. Looking forward to that in 2 weeks. A little less than 2 weeks. Anyway, thanks, Dave, for letting you know about Bob being there. W6MQI, go ahead. WA7YBS.
WA7YBS, W6MQI. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we got quite the list here today. And good morning to Henry, Jerry, Mike, Ron, Bill, Tom, Steve, Chuck, Richard, Vern, and Bob. This is Dave. I'm located in Livermore, and I'm running the ART-13 today with the 75A4 receiver, and with the amplified D104 for a microphone. And all stations they're hanging in there. I'd probably say, Henry, you're probably the loudest. I was surprised Tom was down there. Usually he's pretty loud here, but kind of strange conditions. But copying everybody just fine. And yeah, it's been warm here all week. This weekend's probably been the coolest. A little overcast here. I can't see this. It looks like it's about 60 degrees or so. And a little bit of wind. So over to Jerry, W6JRY, W6MQI.
Okay, very good, Dave. W6MQI in the group, W6JRY. Well, everybody's just pounding in here from all directions. No noise in the background. Really, really good. So I guess the old Delta Loop backup is doing its job anyway. Hopefully. Been quite warm here, up in the 90s, and main activity here is just trying to get lots and lots of yard work done, and very little radio work going on here. Gradually trying to get out from underneath things that kind of happen through the winter. Right now we're trying to get the garden started, our very small garden and so on, but trying to get that squared away. We're on the ATC ART-13, Navy ART-13, and using the old RBM4 receiver, and the Delta Loop is back up with the help of a good ham friend of mine over across the river. So anyway, I'm glad to get the antennas squared around. Several antennas I had on the ground for quite a while here until I could get some help with the tower climbing and so on. So So everybody really sounds great in here this morning. So keep it going and send it over there to Reno there to you, Mike. W7MS and the group W6JRY.
Well, thank you, Jerry, W6JRY, W7MS, and stand by a second because I've got to do some tweaking and peaking because I couldn't do tweaking and peaking because the frequency was in use. Everybody's up at the crack of doom here, so just a moment. Okay, a little better. I'm a little more happier with the match to the dip pole there. So again, W7MS, Mike in Reno. Good morning to all. Good signals, and welcome back, Bob. Nice to hear you from up there in extreme Northern California. Good signal, and of course, very military correct audio there. So nice to hear you. And good signals from all up to this point, including Tom. So we'll have to see how it rolls. So this morning running a rack of solid-state equipment. That's the Rockwell Collins HF80 gear, consisting of a receiver, an exciter, a pre-post selector, power supply for the 1 kilowatt solid-state amplifier. So about 250 watts with upper sideband. So that's my version of AM this morning. And a question for Jerry next time around. Did you know a Bill Mull, K6MGI, former call sign KN6FI, and he's from the Paradise Magalia area there, and a recent transplant to Reno. Met him at last weekend's local swap meet. So curious if you know him. And that's the big question for the next round. But gardening, yes, I was going to ask Jerry about tomatoes. The tomatoes are in here, and they're thriving, and they're just happier than heck. So we'll be conversing on tomato updates through the growing season here. And good morning to everybody that's on frequency, because as David mentioned, it's quite a list, but we'll keep it rolling. So down to Ron, over to Ron, up to Ron, NU6F, W7MS.
Okay, good deal. Let's see. I'm going to, on this transmission, I'm on the loop, so I won't bother to try and tweak over to other antennas yet. But I was in the QSB. Yeah, man. When everybody's signals come up, they are up. So good deal. And again, Bob, good hearing Magalia in there. The only thing that I've heard out of your area is your non-directional beacon. So I'm glad to see there's some other RF up that way. And Dave, yeah, you're pounding in, sounding good. Anyhow, I'm on the TDE with the MG set in the background and the mic, T17, the RAL crowd receiver, and the 10-foot loop. Okay, with that, Bill, those are pretty good. The features are still in there, N6BCP and U6F.
Yeah, okay, Bill. Yeah, it goes to Tom, WA6OPE. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Henry. This is WA6OPE, from beautiful Richmond, where it is cool and gray and windy. High fog, semi-low fog, you might say. But anyway, very cold. It's been cold here the last few days. And fog turns off about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but the wind stays with us, and then the fog starts coming back in again. So, yeah, nice and cool, the way we like it, although the wind's a bit much. Anyway, we are on the TCM this morning, as usual, RBC receiver, as usual these days. We're still on the makeshift temporary antenna. Still am working on the mast. It's almost done. Painting, scraping, and painting to replacing rotted wood. I did get the big support mast that's going to go in the ground. The hole is already dug. 12-foot 4x6 that's going in the ground, and that's going to have a pivot point about 8.5, 9 feet off the ground. And we are going to see if we can raise that mast. The mast will be 35 feet. We'll see if we can raise that mast all by our own from here. So that's the whole idea of all this revamp and everything, is to be able to lower it. And raise it and lower it at will, so to speak, once the guy wires are disconnected. So, big project, moving slowly, but steady by jerks, as I like to say, so that's what's going on here. Big crowd, we'll keep it moving. Over to Steve, W6SSP, WA6OPE.
Okay, thank you, Tom, and good morning, everybody. Good conditions, a little bit of QSB on a couple of guys. Henry is actually one of the weaker stations here for a change. Pretty unusual. Tom, you're pounding in here. Anyway, this is Steve in foggy Santa Rosa. We've got the seafront today. Very pleasant. I kind of like the cooler weather. As Tom says, it'll be off later in the day. So we've arrived at summertime. Summer's here, finally. The grass is still green, as the leaves. Anyway, we're using the usual Collins 32V1 transmitter, 75A1 receiver. You want to put a microphone about 30 feet up. And had kind of an interesting day yesterday. A couple days ago, guy gave me a broken SDR transceiver, which is, I know, way off topic for this group, but I got some funny things about it. I was able to get it fixed, and the capability of these things is actually pretty darn impressive. This one is a CW sideband unit, covers 5 bands, 80 through 20 bands, and oh boy, it just all kinds of features in this thing. It's got a Morse code decoder, for synthesized VFOs, all kinds of features and stuff. The receiver was kind of disappointing, a lot of spurs in it, but the fellow I got it from said he made his very first contact with this band. Pretty good for 5 watts. In a transceiver that's about the size of a password bar phone coach. So anyway, playing with that all day yesterday. I'm fairly impressed, but not about to go over to the dark side. I'll stick with tubes. So over to Chuck with Carl in the background. K0DWC W6SSP. Okay, Steve, W6SSP K0DWC. Well, way to go, man. That's great. I'm glad you have some fun with that thing. Sounds like you already started doing that yesterday, so. Great job, Steve. All righty. Well, good morning to all. We have a very nice group this morning, and want to again say welcome back, Bob, W6OTE in the P368. Good to hear your voice again, and hope you'll continue to check in with us as your schedule permits. So, good to you all the way around. Looking forward to maybe seeing you. And I don't know if Gary's going to be there or not. Gary, I think I emailed you a while back to see if you and Sam are going to be there. And I know you said Sharon wasn't too good on traveling long distances, but maybe you can update us on that if you'll be at Bragg's, W6JRY. But anyway, like I said, we're running the ART13 this morning, 200 watts, RT98 receiver, 232 mic with the electric module, and inverted reed. the same station I ran last week and all the other weeks. But it started out. I'm starting to pick up QSB and on some stations too. And I hope the band doesn't go out. But anyway, I'll keep it moving. I won't waste any time. So we'll kick it down to Richard, W6AWO, K0DWC. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Chuck, and good morning to everyone. This is Richard, W6AWO, high top end in the Stenchman. It is foggy and cool. And maybe it'll burn off. It's this close to the ocean, but we'll see what happens. Conditions are certainly better than they were last week. A lot of good signals, a lot of all the way over signals, so super duper on that. Must mention that I recently received an electric radio with a very attractive photograph on the cover. I really was impressed, and good to see one of our members in person, along with the transmitter and receiver setup that I think is just one of the most attractive going. So well done on them. Not so long, since we do have a long list, so it's going to be over to Vern. K6VXY, W6AWO.
Okay. W6AWO in the group. I haven't added my SP200 yet. I was going to doze back off again, but I did get up early. My coffee may be a little late. And I'll keep it brief here, too. I did some checking out of the swap meet hotels, and then I was led to the guy that runs the thing, to Garberville, something expensive. It's a lot. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. It's maybe look for a winter one or something, but with the gas and the hotels, I'd be well over $400 just making the trip, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So I'll make run the ICOM 7200 with the wonderful SM30 microphone, which has rewarded me good comments as far as the signal quality. Anyhow, there's someone up where we were, my wife and I were looking around up there again in Magalia. I think it's Magalia. We were looking mostly in Paradise and the small side. We were burnt out. You don't know me. The handle here is burned. Victor, Easy, Roger, Nancy. Most of my life spent in the San Francisco Bay Area and the East Bay side. Last 30 years there was in Dublin. So, W6 AQU and the group is K6VXY.
W6AQU. Bob, are you there? Make a transmission and turn it back to me, WA7YBS. Go ahead, Bob. Well, Bob might have been a one and done, and then again, his noise may have came back. You never know. But anyway, it's good to hear from Bob, and we look forward to seeing perhaps. You might try Carson City, for a place to stay. So there's lots of places, in Carson City, and I'm sure they're cheaper than in Gardenville area. You're only about 15 miles away, and it's a pleasant street, from Carson City to Minden, and going over Indian Hills a little bit, because there's about 4 stoplights. Once you get over Indian Hills, it's straight shot. It only takes about 15 minutes to make the drive, so it's not really that bad. But try Carson City and see if you don't have better luck there. And let's see, SDR. I come up with a wording or a description, or whatever whatever you want to call it, for radios that have a multitude of knobs and adjustments versus radios that don't hardly have any knobs. It came about when I got a 51S1 receiver, and the 51S1, of course, was the successor to the R388s, the 51J series, which have a lot of knobs, 16 to be exact, 16 switches and various things to play with your hands. And then you go to the 51S1, and there's only 9 controls on the receiver. It's pretty much tune and listen, and that's it. And so it's a very big disappointment to operate a 51S1. And I came up with the operator's tactile interface. And you don't have that on some rigs. There's no knobs to adjust. There's no, none of that fun stuff of tuning and, manipulating knobs, which I coined the word tactile interface. So anyway, that's something. And I have to say, I didn't say anything at Cabela's, Mike, but I had seen the cover on the internet, and it's a fantastic photograph. I really liked it. I liked the fisheye effect. It really is a good photograph, good cover, and congratulations on that. It's one of the best covers I've seen in a long time on electric radio. So, good photograph. How'd you take it? Or did somebody? Well, obviously you're the picture, so somebody must have taken it for you. But it's a good one, really good one. So, with that, let's see if there's anybody else out there. Anybody else want to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net? Get in on the last go around. Number 12 is open if you want to check into it now.
Yeah, Bob was there briefly on a double Henry W7MS.
Okay, I guess I was a little too quick on the draw. W6AQU, Bob, make a transmission there and turn it back to me. WA7YBS, go ahead, Bob.
Very good, thank you, Henry. Mike, thank you. This is W6 Able Queen Uncle, way up north, 8 miles from the Oregon border, in a little town west of Hornbrook, a few miles from Montague, out nowhere up here, actually. You can look for miles and see nothing. There is a neighbor a mile away. Nice place to have antennas. Well, all stations except Burn are really loud and clear up here. It's a little weak for some reason. On Billwood, you got a good signal up here. I have trouble with your audio. But let's see, OPE. Okay, I guess you're zipping along on an antenna, but it certainly works up here. I think the strongest signal is MQI, then JRY, and then Ron. No, it's kind of a, I don't know, maybe antenna point up here. And I've never spoke with, I think it's SST, Santa Rosa area. We've got a pretty good signal up here. And WO, I believe. Enjoy your RTTY transmissions up here. We have a ASNR line that we play with, and mostly ITTY is about the only thing we can copy up here other than your station. I will keep it moving. I think we're going to have to go right back to Henry then. WA7YBS, W6 Able Queen Uncle.
Okay, Bob. Very good. W6AQU, WA7YBS. All righty. And, yeah, that, Dave mentioned Ron mentioned MOG, the MDB up in Montague. Yeah, amazing that that's still on, because I don't know how many times that's been decommissioned, but then it pops back up again, which is good. It's the only strong NDB left. I can barely pick it up during the day, during the winter. All the data runs, of course, NO is long gone in Reno, and it's down in Fresno, but they ran 400 watts, so they were a good daytime NDB for testing. All of them are gone, and you know, it's over for NDBs, I think. But there's still, you know, when Canada starts shutting them down, you know you're in trouble. So anyway, all right, let's do round two. Up to Dave, W6, MQI, WA7 YBS. Go ahead.
WA7 YBS, W6 MQI. Yeah, I think NDBs with the GPS and everything nowadays, they're pretty much pointless. Waste of RF. When I was flying, we still used them. That was back in the 90s. We even had a couple of LORAN stations out there. We had a LORAN receiver in the aircraft, along with a basic GPS. But the NDBs, they're interesting to navigate by. They look good, but you got to know how to do it, or else you can end up going a long way pretty easily. But anyway, boy, QSB is interesting. It's like waves on our ocean. Pretty deep at times. Bob was almost disappearing a few times there while he was transmitting. But not being built too well. Everybody else is hanging in there, but yeah, got some strong USB today. Not USB, QSB. Yeah, what else? Let's see. Bob mentioned something about RTT wide net, I think he said. Yeah, the Clatternet, not much going on. It's just Tim, N6CC, and I. K6YIC has been AWARE due to family obligations. So, but he's hopefully going to be changing that pretty soon, so we'll at least get some more people on there that way. And Mike, I'm going to miss your ER photograph. I let my subscription go lapse, so I never did re-up it, so I'm not going to be able to see that one. Sounds like it's a good picture you got going there. And I'm going to give my garden update. My tomatoes, no tomatoes yet, but the plant's huge. And bell peppers are getting eaten up by some sort of a bug. The leaves are taking a hit, so I'm dealing with that right now. And my corn, I got about 30 corn plants, and they're about 18 inches to 2 feet tall so far. So hopefully going to have a good corn crop this year. And my carrots and onions never came up. Not quite sure what happened there. It's been about a month and nothing ever happened, so it's a wash on those. Not quite sure what happened. And before I forget about it, Jerry, how are you feeding your Delta loops? Are you feeding them horizontally or vertically? And I'm just curious about that. I had a 40-meter Delta loop here, and I was feeding it horizontally, and man, that thing was a cloud warmer. Really low noise antennas, I'll give them that, but didn't have much luck with the 40-meter one. The 20-meter and the 30-meter deltas I had at one time worked really well, but the 40-meter one was useless. So I'm curious which way you feed those, vertically or horizontally. Yeah, projects. Started working on one of my GRC 106 amplifiers. I was getting some intermittent high grid current, pulled it apart, started doing some checks and doing some idle current checks, and ended up losing the bias circuit in the thing while I was doing it. Smoked it somehow, so that may have been my problem. But not sure if I'll ever get in there to fix it. To get to that bias circuit, you got to pretty much tear the whole amplifier apart to get to that thing. And it's a real pain in the you-know-what to get to. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. But the other amplifier's working good. The problem is can't use it on single sideband. It's being overdriven for some reason. I've been playing around with that with no success. So on goes the GRC 106 saga. So with that, I will send it over to Jerry. Almost called you a W7. W6JRY, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave. W6MQI, W6JRY. You're just pounding in here. Well, your question first here, if I can get my notes read here. Everybody's still good copy. A little problems with Bill, mainly audio is a little hard for me to understand, but other than that, signals not too bad today. Not any noise on the band. Was having a little trouble there with a little bit of sideband interference. Some of the stuff maybe Bob was having problems with. I don't know, or he didn't mention it. Stuff I hear here, it kind of popped in and then went away. Delta loops. Well, I've got two of them, and they're kind of screwy the way they're set up here. The 75 meter one, I have one for 80 and one for 75, and full wavelength, and they're fed off the corner, but the elevation on the this one, the 75 meter one, is actually the apex of it is at 80 feet, and it slopes. It's kind of half sloped off, and it's kind of hard to tell exactly how the pattern is on the thing, but it's always worked quite well. And you're right, one thing I do like about loops is lower noise than some of the dipoles, and it's like I say, the highest point of it is up at about 80 feet, and other 2 points are down at about 40 feet. And that's the way that one's set up. And then the 80 meter one, it's in a different direction. One's north-south and one one's east-west. And the other one I just use on 80CW. And sometimes I'll load it for some of the other bands. Mike, yes, in concurrence with Henry there, very nice photo of you, and the first time I ever seen any part of your shack or anything on electric radio. We got that just a few days ago, so it's really, really a nice picture there. Tomatoes, I haven't, we kind of quit doing those, but I'm going to do them again. I've just barely got a few of the plants. I had a lot of maintenance to do on some of the planter boxes. The snow done some damage on some of the things here, and it just had a lot of yellow cleanup, and I got a lot of workload around here. Sharon's not doing too good, and I have to kind of pick up on some of the other things here. As much as I'd like to, I doubt if I'll get over to the swap meet. I would really like to get back over there, but I can't really leave her alone these days. So that's the situation right here on that. Henry, on the knobs on radios. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I would much rather deal with a lot of knobs on the radio than deep menus. I am just terrible with radios with deep menus on them. And some of the smaller ones are the worst. I think one of my worst radios that I have to go grab the manual for every time I use it, which is not too often. It's a little 5-watt Yaesu 817. It's a little portable radio. And, you know, you've got to do, I don't know how many functions as far as deep menus go, and that just drives me nuts. In fact, on all the modern radios I have, dealing with deep menus is a frustration. In fact, I've got one new one in a box. I got rid of the desk that I had here, the desk KW, and in its place, with the money I got for it, I was able to buy on sale a brand new ICOM 7300, which is a software design radio, I believe, and that was months ago, and it's still in the box and never been opened up yet. So I've just been busy with other things. Also, Mike, no, I do not know K6NG. Now, Vern might know that call, being from the Magee area. There was quite a lot of hams in the Paradise area that moved out and changed. A few of them I knew. I would imagine probably in 20 or 30 or more ones that, you know, lost their homes in the fire. A lot of rebuilding going on over there. And incidentally, I have not been over there since the fire, but I do see a lot of things on TV with the rebuilding and so on that's going on over there. Let me look at my rest of the notes. I hope I answered everything. I don't want to keep it too long. It's a big net here. So, over to you, Mike. W7MS in the group, W6JRY.
Well, thank you, Jerry. W6JRY, W7MS. And I guess to start, we're gonna miss you and Sharon at the swap, but I guess circumstances just aren't going to allow that. But fine on the tomato updates from you and Dave. And an Extreme Garden update from Dave. I wonder if the bell peppers have the same curse of the GRC 106. I wonder if it's communicable there. But enjoyed Dave's comments. Yeah, I guess Class C is just not going to cut it with that one amplifier. That's a good explanation on what might be happening. And let me see here. A few notes. NDBs, Loran. And Tom is coming close to the completion of his antenna support refurbishment / improvement project. So glad that's winding along. Steve, congratulations on the pleasant surprise of playing with a SDR QRP transceiver. That is it's interesting stuff, and that ties into some of Henry's comments on his tactile interface. I guess that's a registered, copyrighted, maybe even has a trademark on it now, but does that cover touch screens? Because that is a tactile interface. And that also ties into Jerry's comments on having to drill down through menus. So still requires a finger. It may not be a rotary motion unless maybe you're pie tossing the device. That might ultimately be the ultimate tactile interface, is when you throw it across the room. And for Steve, yeah, I think I'd mentioned this maybe a few months ago, but we did a short video here in-house. It's a Russian SDR dongle, and the name escapes me. The gentleman had bought it at Xenia Dayton a few years ago, before the current war, of course. So we did a video, SDR versus Collins 75A4. Unfortunately, it did not make the producer-director's cut, so it was never demonstrated at the QCWA, but I think it might be out there on YouTube somewhere. And thanks for the comments on the ER cover. Richard was a little bit more oblique in his comments. Dave is direct. He didn't renew his subscription. And Henry has given it his star of approval, but the big credit goes to Christine. She took the picture on a late model iPhone, so that's she gets photo credit. I guess I can be the cover boy, but Christine gets the photo credit for that shot. And let me see here. Fine on K6MGI. Bill had commented on the waning interest, and that might even have been before the fire in the Paradise area on the club membership, the club he was active in, Jerry. So may in fact maybe one that you're familiar with, or maybe not, since I'm not totally aware of the folks and the geography there, but he is from your neck of the woods, plus or minus. And he's the gentleman I bought the HR05 from, and an update on the HR05. It's up and running. It still needs to be a lot of fine work done on it, but it's reached the basic smoke test category, and it passed in rather boring colors. In other words, it didn't go up in flames, no smoke, no nasty stuff. And the interesting thing about Bill was, and I mentioned this not directly, but the fact that it was a project in kit form, and he had even done pictorial diagrams of the pre-existing hamster modifications, drew all that out longhand on multiple pages based on each socket identifier, and he had each resistor that he had purchased marked with its identifier, its value, and each resistor was placed in a glassine envelope. Along with all this other stuff. And we won't touch the cotton wire. I think Henry had to mention the fact that it's plastic-based wire in the HR05, and I do concur, but I ended up with several hundred feet of really nice cotton-covered wire, of which I think I used about 12 inches in the putting the power supply back together. So I don't know if that's HRO correct, but I think that guy was so old it was probably still wired internally with cotton wire, or at least fabric wire, whatever you want to call it. So I think I've run through my notes, and there is quite a list here. And again, great to hear Bob from Montague. He's doing quite well, and we'll see what happens on the next transmission. So, good morning on NU6F W7MS.
Okay, let's see which. Oh, I can't keep it up. Okay, we're on the. I'm on the long wire. That seemed like I was getting less QSB on this, so we will stick with that for now. Wow. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all the notes, like you said, Mike. And yeah, Henry, number of radios, and yeah, Jerry, menus. It's really, it's hard to switch rigs. I've got 3 SDR, you know, they were homebrew / kit rigs, and yeah, I switched one to the other, and can't remember where the heck the menu is for the other option. I don't know how many times I've just defaulted to turn it off, turn it back on again, and see how do I get back to the 500 hertz filter on CW on 17 meters. Oh well. But yeah, on all these black wrinkle radios, you only have to look at the front of the radio, and there everything is. Well, let's see. Yeah, Henry, other than that, you're sounding great. Dave, yeah, I feel your pain on that GRC 106. You know, it's like it's a thorn in your side when you have stuff like that. Gosh, I'd like to get to that, but do I want to invest that much time in my life to go ahead and tear it apart and take the thing down and then lose the nuts and bolts, or can't remember, did that spacer go on this side of that shaft or the other side? So, yeah, I feel your pain. Stay in the garden, or, well, we did take care of, my brother and I took care of one of his ongoing projects. I don't know how many times I worked on his own dryer, and he finally broke down and bought a new dryer. And, but we took the old one out shooting. So, what an excellent target a 6-year-old Sears dryer is. Man, we had more fun with that, and then afterwards, at the end of the day, take it over to the transfer station, and no charge, just push it off the truck into that pile of scrap. Well, so there you go, Dave. You can always go a level over with one of the errant amps. And Jerry, okay, wow, 80 feet up on that 75 meter delta. I had 160 meters up in Full Run when I was there. Of course, it ran all through the trees every which way. And, well, it was up there for, 7-8 months out of the year. It worked fine, but, boy, it was a lot of maintenance because I didn't have just 3 trees in the clear to go ahead and support it. But, yeah, that's all passé. There'll be no more big antennas for me anymore. Everything has to be hidden and low profile. And what else I can say here? Mike, okay, on your producer's cut of the SDR versus 7504. I have to take a look at that and see if it's in the archives. And hand-drawn pictorials of where everything was. Well, like I say, I didn't look at it that close, but just what I did see in the box, it did look like, yeah, he was painstakingly detailed, which makes it really a whole lot easier. I was telling him, I said, well, the one thing, you got the right guy to buy that thing, because I'll bet you in 2 weeks' time, that thing is going to be running. And he said, well, I hope so. And I said, well, yeah, I told you so. And Tom, okay, on the ongoing antenna project with the pivot pole, well, once this new one is up, it'll be a whole lot easier to repair and work on. So it'll be well worth the time spent. Steve, okay, on the SDR radio, I almost kind of think I might even say that their radio was artificial intelligence. But it's still pretty hard, even as I do have this, the one latest SDR rig, the one I booked it a couple years ago. I'm going to take that to the Azores in a couple of weeks. And I did know, I'd forgotten, the filters on that one don't have the ringing and echo as bad as my other ones do. So anyhow, they've all got their pluses and minuses, and on the road, it works out really nice to have those dinky little radios and a little amp. And Chuck, I guess I'll see you in a couple of weeks over at Brad's. And Vern, not sure what happened with the squirrels. And Bob, AQU, I never did catch what rig were you using. Anyhow, with that, I will hand it over to Bill, and we'll see if we copy N6BCT. N6F.
Okay, N6BCT, WA6OPE. Well, conditions are deteriorating here, at least on some stations. On North N6 or NU6F completely. Couldn't tell he was there the first part of the transmission.
noise there once and then disappeared back down into noise, and then towards the end of the transmission it came up a bit again, but no go. And anyway, let's see. I think this is going to be my 73 round. So conditions, as Richard said, conditions are better this week than they were last week. But nothing to write home about, although some of the stations are pretty strong. The ground stations are weaker than usual today here, except for Mike. Mike's nice and loud. Nice and loud. MQI is numero uno, and I would say probably Mike and Jerry are vying for number 2. But anyway, things are deteriorating here, so 73, everybody. Talk to you all, let's see, I don't know if we're going to be on next week or not. I have to keep a look at the calendar. I know, let's see, N7 RCA swap meet is sneaking up on us here. And I'm going to be coming up the day before. I'm going up on Thursday. And and then Friday I'm going to go out and snoop. I'm going to go out and snoop on Friday morning, early afternoon. I'm going to go out and snoop around Silver Springs and around Fernley. Just out of curiosity. A couple of weird things. Anyway, so I'll be snooping, satisfy my curiosity. And yeah, that'll do it. And my wife and I will be going, and looking forward to that. The hay fever season is kicking in. I was out Martinez the other day, and it was like the old days. And, geez, you know, there's so much grass this year that, boy, if you've got hay fever and you get in the grassy area and it gets kind of warm, boy, things are really coming up. Here in beautiful Richmond, it's not bad, because we get mostly air from the ocean and the bay, lots of wind from it, so the hay fever situation isn't bad at all here, but it'll be interesting in Dixon, and the wind might be blowing there today too. So anyway, we'll see. So, 73s, everybody. Let's talk to you all whenever. W6SSP, WA6LP.
W6SSP, go ahead and make your transmission.
Just in time to way below the noise. Conditions are really deteriorated the last few minutes here. So anyway, interesting deal. I'm sure some of you guys are still hearing it. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes down in noise. So, interesting bunch of projects and comments today. Then we have the MDBs and Mike on our boat. So Bo on the DRC 106 again. It's hooked in you for sure. And Mike, boy, I tell you, I can relate to your comments about menus and dealing with little radios and stuff like that. I just don't know what I was using on that phone. Very good on the 7584 versus SDR Donovan. I can just about imagine that NHLOW, which is besides the SDR radio, continued with the lining of crystals, 6975 KC, and besides the simple software in Cola, 40 KC, up to 7015. KC, boy, it took a long time, and everything else, but it's possible. Let's see, the other things from Central Reach is 247.
kit along with the SS-110 to save over the e-waste, and both of them turned out to be relatively easy restorations, flexible restorations anyway. And both are beautiful, just like new. I'm surprised how well they work. Cabinet's been wonderful ongoing process here. And let's see, next up on the bench is the DC-342 project that I picked up last year. Also have a DC-312, and it's kind of more different radio. So it's in the middle of it. So, I think that's it for me, guys. I'm going to call it a day because somebody's going to talk here. Turn over to you for the DWC, W6.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, you're Q5 here in Dayton, at my locale. I'm sure you are at Henry's too, but yeah, no problem with you coming in over here anyway. But yeah, the conditions are starting to deteriorate pretty good, so I just got a few quick comments, and I'll go ahead and chip it down there to Richard. I want to say 7 freeze to you, Stan, and Tom. And Jerry, I'm glad you got your Delta loop back up and going again. You sound great. Powerful signal. Rock crusher of a signal, as a matter of fact. And congratulations on getting that back. I'm sorry to hear you won't be at Brad's. Good shooting, our very best. And I hope both of you continue to do well. And you guys just, take it easy and just, hang in there with the yard work and all that good stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, we'll miss you there, Jerry. You and Sharon both are Brad. So. And Mike, electric radio cover. I haven't seen it yet. Henry described it to me. I'll have to take a look at it. Congratulations again. I think the last cover I saw from you were with WB6ACU. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the last cover I saw. I don't know if that was the last cover before this one that you did, but always, when you always get an opportunity for a photo op, boy, take it. But good deal on that, Mike, and we're glad you got the HR05 up and running. I figured you'd probably have it running probably the same day you bought it, but I didn't see it, so I didn't know what the extent was of it. But knowing you, it'll be all original. So anyway, congratulations on that, Mike. And give Christine our best, and tell her she evidently did a heck of a job with the photograph this time, so with this cover. So give her my congratulations. I'm going to take a look at it today. So anyway, I don't subscribe to electric radio, but I heard you can see it on the internet. So I'll check it out. All right, we'll keep it moving because time's a wasting and the band's going. So W6AWO. In the group, this is K0DWC. Go ahead, Richard.
Looking forward to Brad coming up. I know we have a couple of
Okay, thank you, Rich. Moving up the strong signals left. I looked at the clock, it's about 8:15, and that's normally when we start our 73 round. We got a big group today, so I'm going to be quick also. Do have a quick question because he's coming up real soon to Henry. I found a couple towns in California side of the border. One is and the other one is Woodford. They don't
seem very far from where the ultimate goal is, and it might be a place to look besides Carson City for inexpensive hotels. And I think it was Rich NU6F that said there hasn't been any reports, and there's been very little squirrel activity. My wife commented the other day, where are all the squirrels? She says, I don't know. Maybe they found new trees, new haven. Anyhow, your signals for everybody, it's about an S9, S8 to 9 to 10 over when we started, and they've deteriorated. So I'll be really quick here and say 73, so all in all, continue looking there, Henry. Where is it? Mike mentioned it. Montague? W6 AQU 36 VXY. I'll be regular power next week. Off we go. Over to you, Bob.
Okay, I think you, Henry, did you turn to me?
Yeah, you did. Go ahead.
About that time sideband now. Channel, Mike, I thought you agreed to turn it over. This is W6 able. We don't know what it was. Now, Henry, we no longer have the QTH there. That's what we can do with that.
Do a little tweaking and peeking here. All right. Okay. Oh, 73 to Bob. We'll see you there, Brad. Bringing a GDZ. ECZ. Interesting. And 73 to Richard. I guess you're going to be attempting to come there too, which would be nice. And then antenna issues here. Okay. All right. And 73 to Steve and 73 to Tom. Wood. Now, I used to live down in this valley 30 years ago, so things have changed. I haven't really been to Woodford's in a long time, but that's like just down from Oak Valley. And it used to be a housing community, you know, just like a suburb sort of. And there really wasn't anything there except for houses. And there used to be a campground down there, Indian Creek Campground. And then all the cabins that were in Hope Valley. So, they were rustic. They were rustic. It's just, I'm not familiar with what that's something that must have cropped up, since 1990 or so down there. I'm not familiar with that. I would recommend Carson City because you have a large choice of places to stay there, and it's not that bad of a drive. If you come from, if there's a place to stay in Woodford's, you would still have, a 10 or 15 minute drive to Brad's anyway, just coming from the south instead of from the north. But anyway, send me an email. You got my email there, and if you have any other questions about places to stay in. But you have to remember, it's been a while since I've lived down in that area. And so anyway, let's do the 73 round times wasting, as Chuck says. So we got Dave, Jerry, Mike, Ron, Bill. Then Bill sends it to Chuck. So N6BCT, you send it to K0DWC, and Chuck send it to Vern, and Vern back to me. So W6